thank you very much for that kind introduction, and I want to thank all of you for gathering here today to talk about these important issues that are affecting, I want to say, our democracy, okay? They are affecting our democracy. And thank you for calling me an icon. My youngest son said, Mom, you're not an icon, you're an icon. I can't. And I want to thank the Community Alliance also for hosting us to make this happen today. And it made me feel so good to see all of you here because our country is under such a threat that I don't even think that we realize how really serious it is. We heard the statistics. The fact that there are people in our country that are being attacked because they are LGBT, because they're gay, because they're immigrants, you know? The criminalization of people that we see. You have probably heard the word today. I hope you haven't. If you haven't, I'm going to bring it up. And it's the F word. Fascism, okay? Fascism. We have to call it what it is. We have to call it what it is. And the word fascism comes from a German word that means to hurt. To hurt people. And that's exactly what we see that is happening right now. We just heard today about the Supreme Court decisions, okay? About doing away with affirmative action. We heard about them now trying to make not forgiving kids for the school loans when we should be having pre-college education in the United States of America where everything is as they have in Scandinavia and in parts of Latin America where students get pre-college education and free health care, okay? And yet we see us going backwards again. You know? So, why is this happening to us? Well, we know it's about power, it's about money. But you know, I just want to talk about this legacy that we have. I'm going to call it the legacy of slavery. On June the 19th, we celebrated the final end of slavery, supposedly in Texas, okay? The final. So what is this legacy of slavery that we have? Number one, that people, like farm workers and others, should spend their life's energy working to make other people rich, okay? But not being able to take care of their own families for their own selves. That is a legacy of slavery. The legacy of slavery is to keep people from having an education. That's the legacy of slavery. So when we see all of these anti-woke things that are happening throughout our country to keep people from understanding what the legacy of slavery is, and this is where racism comes from. It comes from slavery to kind of justify making people work for nothing to make other people rich. That's the legacy of slavery. And that then goes on to women, and it goes on to children, that legacy of slavery. This is what we are up against right now. And I just want to talk a little bit, because racism is so fundamental to everything that we are seeing. And I just want to say to everybody, and all of us, we don't want to beg of you, this is not going to end unless we are the ones that are going to have to end it. So I'm going to ask you to be the messengers of justice and the messengers of peace. This is all of our fight right here. All of our fight. There's one basic truth, and this is science. I know we have a lot of people that are anti-science right now. There's one basic truth, that we are all human beings, and we all come, I'm going to say this, where did our human race begin? Our human race began in Africa. Think about that. Our human race began in Africa. And as our human race traveled the planet, people went up there to the northern areas of Europe. People lost the color of their skin, they got lighter. Different color hair, different color eyes. but we are all Homo sapiens, one human race. We're the only human race that survived on this planet, Homo sapiens. We're all the same. And we have to remember that. If you can think of all of yourselves, of being Africans, and myself, that we are all Africans of different shades of colors. I'm going to repeat that. We are all Africans of different shades and colors. And I remember, thank you. Yeah, let's applaud that. Let's do that. And we would never have survived on planet Earth had we not taken care of each other and protected each other. Because we were the smallest of the mammals. The bigger mammals could have had us for lunch, okay? And they didn't, because we took care of each other. I'm going to ask you to do something right now. I want you to take the hand of the person next to you. Take the hand of the person next to you. Please, take the hand of the person next to you. Okay? Turn to the person next to you and say, hello, relative. Yes, we're all related. We're all related. Isn't it good to know that you're related to Obama? Okay. And to Dr. King? And to Robert Kennedy Peter? All right. This is good, right? To know that we're all related, okay? So we just have to remember that. And the other thing I want to say about, and I want to give you a quote from the Mexican president of Mexico, Benito Juarez. He was an indigenous president after they got the independence from Spain. And he had a great saying, respecting other people's rights is peace. Respecting other people's rights is peace. In Spanish, el respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. Why do I say that? I am the mother of 11 children, okay? I'm the mother of 11 children. My daughter Juanita has a dog named Bruno, okay? And a cat named Juma. And she is not going to have any children. My youngest son Rick, he's not going to have any children either. I'm okay with their choice, okay? That is their life, that is their business, and every family, every woman has a right to decide what is good for her own body. And nobody, no religious leader should tell a woman what to do with her body. That is her human right. When it comes to gay marriage, if you fall in love with somebody, live with, or marry somebody of your own sex, whose business is that? That's their business, right? It doesn't affect you or your family. It doesn't affect you at all. That is their business, okay? So we have to remember that. And all of us have people that we know that are kind of confused on these issues. They're confused on these issues. And I know a lot of us that have, I was raised Catholic. Now, I was taught that abortion as a sin. But again, let's go back to science. What does science say? A fetus is not a person. A fetus is not a person until that person is born. We have to remember that this is science, okay? This is science. And I know that that's a debate right now. But we have to really understand these things, and we cannot let people become criminalized on these issues, like it's happening right now in so many states in our country right now. So, as I said before, fascism is here. I'm going to give you another little statistic that will show you how fascism is here in our country. In the United States of America, we have more people in prison than India or China. What's our population? 300 million? What's the population of India? 1 billion? The population of China? Over 1 billion? How is it that we have more people in prison here? How is it? And who are the people in prison? they're black, they're brown, they're poor white people, okay? That don't have the money to spend a lot of money on attorneys. So this is what we're looking at right now, the face of fascism. And who's going to stop this? Sometimes I think to myself, what would have happened to all of us having been in Nazi Germany? When Hitler came in and started taking people to incarcerations and to prisons, and the gypsies and the disabled and the Jews, what would we have done to stop that? What would we have done? Well, we have to save democracy in the United States of America. And what makes us really different in the Central Valley of California? Not only that we feed the nation in big parts of the world, you know, that's really important, but there's something else that's different about us. Because we are like some of those southern states, okay, where these laws are being passed against women and against gays, and trying to keep people from learning about slavery and how it started, you know, and why we have to end it. That's what makes us kind of similar. And I think many of us here, well, that we have friends and relatives in those other states, that we can call and talk to them, share the message with them, share this message with them. And they may not want to hear the message. They may not agree with us, but we can plant that seed. We can plant that seed. And we've got to do more. Robert Kennedy, Senator Robert Kennedy, just before he was assassinated in Los Angeles in 1968, he said these words: "We have responsibilities and obligations to our fellow citizens." We have responsibilities and obligations to our fellow citizens. So we can do this, okay? Because the one thing that will stand up to the fascists and to those people who want to continue hurting people is us, the numbers. So, you know, we've had a beautiful afternoon here today talking about these issues, being informed, and we see the statistics and we see why we have to start acting now and think, what is it we can do? We have to talk to our neighbors, we have to talk to our friends, maybe we can form committees in our neighborhood. I would like to see a big old march saying, "Stop the hate right here in the Central Valley," you know? Stop the hate right here in the Central Valley. People will know. And our politicians will hear us, so they can hear us and understand what they have to do. I was very disappointed when I was in the Board of Supervisors recently, not getting arrested, just being there talking. And the Board of Supervisors of Fresno County, they voted to only fly the American flag and the California flag. Why did they do that? Because a couple of years ago, the city of Fresno, they flew the pride flag. They flew the pride flag. It was beautiful. I mean, there were 1,000 people there. People cheered. There was laughter. There was celebration. There was joy. Because we were defending those amongst us that need the most protection. But the Board of Supervisors of Fresno County, and this is happening all over the city of California. And in fact, I spoke to a city councilwoman out of the San Bernardino area. What happened at their city council meeting? There were people that said, if you want to fly the pride flag, then you have to fly the KKK flag. In today's world, they said that. You have to fly the KKK flag, okay? So this is not going to stop unless we are the ones that are going to stop it. We have a lot of people here today. I'm so happy to see all of you. And sometimes we think, well, maybe I'm the person I can't do it by myself, you know? And, you know, when we started the United Farm Workers Union, there were only 3 of us. Cesar Chavez, his wife Helen Chavez, and myself. 3. And then his brother Richard joined, and then more people joined, and pretty soon we had thousands of people. So it's going to start with us, and please, I just want to promise you and assure you that we can make this happen. See somebody. So I'm going to ask all of you to do me a favor and stand up. You can stand up for a minute. I haven't been sitting down for a long time. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and I know you know the answer to my question, but I want you to wait for me, okay? The first question I'm going to ask you who's got the power. I want you to say, we've got the power. Second question is, what kind of power? You're going to answer the word people power, all right? Just the way the revolution was won against the English here, and you know, to be able to celebrate the 4th of July, but we're going to celebrate in 2 days. Okay, 2 questions. Who's got the power? You're going to yell really loud. Lift the rafters. We've got the power. What kind of power? People power. Let's go. Who's got the power? We got the power! Okay, let's do one more time. Some people aren't sure. Take a deep old breath. Okay, let's go. Who's got the power? We got the power! What kind of power? People power! So are we going to use our people power? Are we going to go out there and organize and talk to people and get more people to join us to stop the hate? What do we say? ¿Se puede o no se puede? Sí se puede! Okay, let's do it in English. What do we say? Yes, we can. Okay, yes, we can. Okay, let's do it all together with an organized hand clap. We'll say, yes, we can, and sí se puede in Spanish. We'll do in English first and then in Spanish. Okay, let's go. Yes, we can.